Okay, good evening everybody. Welcome to Rome for this media conference with Gareth Southgate and Harry Maguire to preview tomorrow's UEFA Euro 2020 quarter-final between England and Ukraine. As ever, if you have a question, please raise your virtual hand, and when I do call you forward, please clearly state who your question is for. We'll start this media conference with a question from Alex Howell of BBC Sport.
Hi Gareth. The game's tomorrow, a short turnaround. Just wondering, what's been the biggest challenges in preparing for this?
Well, I think firstly, making sure the players have got the right level of information, but not filling their heads too much. When you've got a short turnaround, they've got to recover first of all from the previous game. Physically, you can't do too much on the training ground, so you've got to get the right balance. But we feel that we've got the information across that we wanted to, and yeah, we're really looking forward to the game now.
And the game is in Italy, obviously, and I know the travel and everything you just mentioned, not much time on the training pitch, but will that affect team selection too much, or do you have to think about players' loads?
No, I mean, we had sort of six days prep before the last game, so and although the game the other day was intense and emotional, it was only 90 minutes, so I think everybody is fine in terms of physical load. We've of course got a strong squad and a strong bench as well, so and the heat here will be, although we won't be right in the middle of it, it's going to have a little bit of a factor by the end of the game, I would think. So we've just got to manage people through that, but the players are all physically in good position.
And then just one for Harry, please. Harry, a lot's been made about how good the defence has been as a unit. Just wondering where this ranks in terms of a defensive unit that you've played in. How good is this defence?
Yeah, I think obviously you can judge by the goals that we've conceded in recent games. It's not just the defence, it's a great goalkeeper behind us, and also just as a team, as a unit, as a base, we have tireless strikers who are working hard and putting pressure on their defenders, not giving them any moment to build and control the game. So it's a big team effort. It's not just the defenders, but of course it's nice as a central defender to keep clean sheets, but the main focus is winning football matches, and at the moment we're doing that, so long may that continue.
And changed from a back four to a back three last game. Do you personally have any preference?
No, like I said, it's something that I don't have a preference in. I'm comfortable of playing both positions. I think in modern day football, you play a back three or a back four. I think there's certain aspects of games where you build with a back three, and you can go into a back three even though you're playing a back four. So I think it's important that you can be fluid in the system, and I think we are at the moment.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Next we'll go to Mark Mann-Bryans from P8.
Hi, Gareth. There was plenty of talk before the tournament about Phil Foden, and since the start of the tournament, there's been a groundswell of support for Jack Grealish. The pair haven't been on the pitch together yet during the finals. Is that because of a clash of styles, or could they work together if selected?
No, absolutely, they can work together. They've played for us in the past together, and we've just got such a strong array of attacking talent. I've said all along, it's impossible to keep everybody happy. It's impossible to pick a team that anybody will agree with or everybody will agree with. But we've got to pick the right players for the right moments, and we've got to sense what the opposition, what will cause the opposition the most problems. Physically, where all the players are at, when's the best time for them to have an impact, and I've got to say they're all being unbelievably respectful of their teammates, and the fact that we have got this strength in depth. Of course, Raheem has been on fire, so his goals have made it more difficult for a couple of others to get in on that left-hand side that they favour as well. So it's not an easy situation, but of course it's a strong situation for us as a team, and ultimately everybody, all the players are committed to the team doing well.
I think you said ahead of the Germany game how important it was to have players in the team to get in behind and have that pace to get in behind. With Ukraine, the chances are they will sit a bit deeper. So could it be that players like Jack and Phil would actually be crucial in terms of getting in and breaking through that defence?
Well, you always need runs in behind, however deep a defence are. You know, it doesn't have to be long passes in behind a defence. It can be little 5-yard runs. You've got to disrupt opposition defences. So, of course, any players that are good in one-against-one situations that have that creativity are important, and we're fortunate that we've got players with that profile.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Next, we'll go to Jack Pitbrook from The Athletic.
Hi, Gareth. 3 years ago in Russia, one thing that you managed really well was that transition from the emotional high of the Colombia game through to a really professional performance a few days later against Sweden. How are you trying to replicate a similar dynamic this week?
Well, I think right from the final whistle the other day, the players were already talking about the next game and preparing for the next game, and recognising that although they loved the experience of the last game, you move on quickly in tournaments, and we've not got to the point at which we want to be yet. So it's not been too difficult really to refocus people. The opportunity is there, the confidence is there, and the belief, and I think they're looking forward to the challenge. It's actually, I think it's good to come away from Wembley now. It would have been hard to replicate the atmosphere we had the other day, 3 days later, and I think to have a different focus, different surroundings, different sort of a challenge is good for us.
Cool, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Jack. And we'll next go to James Ollie of ESPN. Sorry, James, I think you're on mute at your end. Put you off.
You got me now?
Yep, got you now.
Okay. Hello to you both. Question for Gareth, please. Obviously, the quick turnaround's already been mentioned. Is everybody actually fit and available for selection?
Yeah, we've just got to check on Bukayo, who had a slight knock today. But other than that, everybody's available, yeah.
And you've got, obviously, 4 players on yellow cards. I mean, can you afford to think further ahead than the quarter-final? Will that affect your team selection at all?
No. I don't really understand that rationale. I understand that strategically you might like to do that, but I can't think of a country in the world that would do that for a quarter-final, and especially not a country that's only ever been to 3 semi-finals in its history. So, no, I think we've got to focus on tomorrow. I think it would be a big error for us to be thinking about anything else. And I think it would be an insult to Ukraine as well. So we won't make any decisions based on yellow cards. We did in the last group game because we knew we had qualified, and we had the opportunity to protect Phil within that game because we weren't sure what was going to happen further on. But now we play to win, and we've got to have everybody available.
Just finally from me, you mentioned the heat already. I think the weather forecast is for maybe 25, 26 degrees tomorrow. I mean, is there anything you can do, if you had any chance to acclimatise the players to that? And do you expect the conditions to make it a kind of more attritional game?
Well, I don't think it will be as hot as the game with Croatia. And, of course, the sun will be going down. So we'll be playing in the evening here, which will give some respite, I think. So I think we're definitely used to handling those sorts of conditions. Will be important to use the ball well, that's for certain. And we've got all of the sort of cooling strategies and rehydration strategies that any team would have, really.
Okay. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, James. Thank you.
Thanks, James. And we'll go next to Paul Joyce of The Times.
Gareth, I was just wondering what you didn't like about the Germany performance. If there was anything that you didn't like, maybe from a football perspective, you know, when you're being super analytical as a staff. Is there anything that you maybe identified within that game that you didn't do as well as you would have liked?
Well, I think we took 10 or 15 minutes to settle with the ball. We then came into it, but that 10 or 15 minutes, Germany did settle quickly, and I think that showed something about their mentality, and we've got to show that right from the beginning of games. The other issues that we had were our system against their system, really, and you're always going to face that a little bit. There, Havertz and Müller dropping slightly lower to the side of our double pivot was always going to be a little bit of a problem, but we were causing exactly the same problem at the other end, and in that system, that's the weakness, really. So they had the runs of Werner in behind a couple of times where we were a little bit too deep, with the ball, we perhaps could have had a little bit more interchange of position along that front line, and a little bit more of a threat in behind at times. But it was a very good performance. It wasn't perfect, but it was very good.
And just a question to Harry. Tyrone Mings obviously started the tournament. Is he an example of the selflessness that you need as a squad, whereby you play very well, but then you drop out the team, but you still train to the highest standard every single day? Does he sort of embody the sort of selflessness that's helping the squad?
Yeah, definitely. I feel that's within our squad. That's the team spirit. We're not only just England players, but we're all England fans. So whether I'm playing or whether I'm not, I'm wanting the team to win. And I'm sure Tyrone's exactly the same. He did brilliant in the first two games. He got us two important clean sheets for the team. So we know he's ready when he's called upon. He's a great part of the group, and of course we have competition for places in our squad, and that can only help.
Thanks, Paul. Sorry, thanks, Paul. We'll go next to Simon Peach.
Hi, good evening. Question for Harry. What are you expecting from Ukraine? Obviously, when you played Germany, there's a lot more household names, and it's not supposed to be any disrespect to Ukraine. But what are you expecting from them, and in particular their attack?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, what we've seen of them this tournament, they've done exceptionally well. They pass the ball around nice. They have great principles. Obviously, Yarmolenko from the Premier League as well. We know what he's about and the goal record that he's got for Ukraine. But we go into every game obviously respecting our opposition, but we've got to focus on ourselves mainly. We've got to focus on ourselves and the performance, and reach a level which is more than capable of winning the football match. And that's the main focus. If we focus on ourselves and make sure the mentality is right, and we make sure the performance is right, we give ourselves a great opportunity of going through to the semi-final.
And a question for Gareth, if that's okay. In terms of that mentality, everything's gone well so far. I know not all the social media comments and everything have. You've not conceded. You're undefeated. There will be a setback at some point, you'd think. So how do you prepare for the group for that, even if it's falling behind to an early goal?
Yeah, they're things we talk about as a team. I think very often you don't want to mention those things for fear of it being a negative conversation, but the reality is things do happen, events do happen in football matches. There's been a red card tonight, and you've got to be able to adapt to those things, and everybody on the pitch knowing what we're doing, that we're calm in those moments, we're composed in those moments, is very, very important. So you've got to prepare for those things as much as you prepare for your patterns of play, your set plays, and everything else.
Thanks, Simon. Next to Carrie Brown of Bean Sports. No. As ever, Carrie, sorry we're having issues with you again. We'll jump to Pierre from L'Equipe. Comes in. Here he comes.
Do you hear me?
We do, yeah.
I was wondering, Gareth, what kind of atmosphere do you expect for tomorrow's game, and in which extent do you think this atmosphere or this lack of atmosphere could impact the game?
Well, obviously, more like the size of crowd we had for our first matches at Wembley in the group stage, but without many England supporters, so a different experience for us. But our players are used to playing all season in front of no fans and having to create their own atmosphere, and you need leadership on the pitch in these moments, and we've got some very good leaders in our squad. So yeah, it doesn't matter too much to us. We know that it's a fabulous stadium to play in, a great venue, great arena, historic arena, and we're looking forward to playing the game.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Pierre. And next we'll go to Anna Quiles.
Hello, good afternoon. These last games in the Euro have been very tough, very long, and with unexpected results. Do you expect tomorrow a very tough game?
Definitely. We know that I think Andre has done a fantastic job with the Ukrainian team. We watched them a lot, particularly sort of a year ago. We could see how well they use the ball. They've got a threat with their forwards, and of course they've got tremendous spirit, and they showed all of those things against Sweden. I know they were criticised during the group stages, but they showed all of their qualities against Sweden, and yeah, we know it's a game we've got to be well prepared for.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Anna. We don't have any further hands raised, so we'll conclude this media conference there. Thanks for joining us this evening.
A few pens missed there, weren't there, by the way?
I know, I'm just thinking this. Spain went through that.
Huh? Yeah.
Spain won,
Yeah. I think the Swiss missed 3.
Spoiled your enjoyment of the match there.
No, it's good to have one in the back.